Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Whiskey Rebellion. We are here today with three ladies because it's ladies kind of day. So we're going to be discussing standard issue release whiskey versus a cask strength. A lot of times people will kind of poo-poo a brand in its entirety just because, you know, they associate it with how they drank or who they drank it with. And one of the ones I hear that a lot about is Jack Daniels. There's nothing wrong with Jack Daniels. I did drink entirely too much of this when I was like 21. So for a long time, I didn't want to drink Jack. And I started to realize by the time I was about 25 or 26 that I was kind of like holding a negative impression of a brand based on my stupidity as a young guy. And then as I started kind of trying some of their better products, I realized that I was really wrong for dismissing an entire brand based on one product. So today's show is this, and these ladies get to try the difference to see. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
All right, well, I'm Danny. I am from Pennsylvania. I've been drinking whiskey probably 5 or 6 years now. Started drinking it because I wanted something that was fun to sip on and something that wasn't overly sweet. I'm not a big cocktail person. Well, I do like cocktails, but I don't like overly sweet cocktails. So I started drinking whiskey as an alternative, and here I am.
My name is Beth Hobbs, and Jack Daniels is when I started at 21 with Jack and Coke. So it'll be nice to just have a difference of how we drank it when we were 21 as to now in our aged.
And there's nothing wrong with Jack and Coke. It is literally a universal drink, probably the most drank cocktail in the world.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm a local bourbon groupie.
Yeah.
Love the chemistry behind it, how it's made, everything that goes into the aging process.
You can just say nerd. You don't have to. That's all right. I'm a nerd too. But cool nerd. Yes, only because I get to sit on this side of the bar. It doesn't make me look like I'm an alcoholic, even though I'm like. But have you guys ever compared the same whiskey in a standard versus a cask strength before?
I have once. I really like Sagamore Rye, so I've had the cask strength and the standard before.
That's awesome. We're actually, just as a complete aside, as a restaurant, we met with the Sagamore people and we're going up there soon. And we're going to pick a barrel, and some nerd brother of yours, Micah, gets to go with us and film the whole thing, which he's very excited about. And you know, somewhere at the bottom of that I just said, it's going to say Micah with an arrow pointing that way.
We actually went to the Sagamore Distillery for our 1-year anniversary, my fiance and I.
That's really a beautiful place. They've done a good job.
It's beautiful, yeah.
And kind of not dumb history, but back in the day, and I'm talking 75 years ago, rye from Maryland was considered the best rye in the country. And so they're kind of reviving a tradition that did not happen for a long time. And some of my true nerdy friends that collect bourbon and rye and things like that hold in high esteem Wild Turkey rye that was distilled in Maryland, of all places.
I think it'll be fun because I haven't had Jack side by side with a barrel and just a off the shelf kind of stuff. So
I mean, I could mix it with some Coke and let you revive your 21 year.
Yeah, only if it was a quarter, because that's how much we paid for it before.
Well, how about you? Have you ever done this?
Yes, I have. Usually I try to keep my proof on the low, about 110 on down, and cask strength gets a little bit up there. So sometimes I need a splash of water.
I think you're going to be shocked when you taste this particular cask strength. I want to say, 126.3. Sounds like jet fuel, right? This tastes like bourbon candy. I mean, it really does. It is so sweet. It does not burn, does not bite like you would think it is. And so I'm pretty excited to let you guys try these. So first, the #1 selling spirit in the world. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. #2, I believe, is Johnnie Walker Red or Johnnie Walker Black.
Of whiskey specifically, or spirits in general across the board?
Spirits in general. Now in the United States these days, catching up to them is Tito's vodka. But as a whiskey bar owner, I think, no, I'm just kidding. It's just not what we feature, you know. But Tito's is growing. It's one of the largest growing spirits in the world. So Jack Daniels always has this huge, sweet banana nose. And Jack Daniels as a distillery does something unique. They do a charcoal filtration with maple charcoal to smooth it out. Jack Daniels himself was so arrogant that he did not call his product bourbon. He didn't think it was low class enough to call it bourbon, so it does not say bourbon on the bottle, but that does not mean it is not a bourbon style whiskey. I think that's kind of a fun story that he was like, no, we're better than bourbon.
It's definite. I'm surprised it doesn't have banana peels in it because it is very sweet and flavorful with banana.
I may be wrong, but I was told a long time ago by a distiller that it's actually certain yeasts that create that banana note. I've had some distillers tell me that that's a sign of a bad cut on the whiskey. There's so many differing opinions and all that stuff. But literally this, when I sip it, what's left in my mouth afterwards reminds me of banana runts. Like, it doesn't even taste like a real banana. It tastes like banana runts specifically. I almost kind of want some to do the little fangs with right now. But it doesn't taste bad, right? Like, it is kind of funny. People poo-poo Jack, and I think Jack is a delicious whiskey. And they come here and see all of this, and they're like, oh, Jack Daniels. I'm like, dude, you can't trash Jack Daniels. There's a reason why it's drank universally. But this is one of my favorite whiskeys from anybody. The first time I got to try a cask strength or barrel proof single barrel Jack Daniels, I was blown away. It just like knocked my socks off at how delicious it was. And I'm very excited to get to taste this right now because it still is one of my favorites.
It's a different smell.
Yeah, the banana is not so prevalent. Catch way more of the oak, I think. 126.3, it doesn't burn at all, does it? It's kind of crazy.
And I've had some cask strength stuff that you've picked.
Yes.
And I was surprised it was like 131 proof. And I was like, this is awesome.
Well, that's...
I know. It's because you picked.
It's almost like you do this for a living.
Yeah. I try to. Sometimes I don't get a living out of it. Like, owning a restaurant's not fun. But I think that a lot of times people look at high proof stuff and they are like, oh, I can't drink that. And they don't understand that, like, usually when it's at cask strength, they're picking some of the better barrels and they want to feature kind of their best foot forward. And in this case, this is spectacular. I would never, if somebody just gave this to me blind, say this is almost 130 proof. It drinks like it's maybe like 105, 108, somewhere like that. It's kind of dangerous because you can drink it way too easily, but it is so good. And if you, as a viewer, have never bought yourself a bottle of this, the single barrel proof Jack Daniels, it's an amazing product. And Jack Daniels really does it right. So I don't have much more to say in this show. This was a shorty. I just wanted to show you the difference. And the difference is spectacular.
Yeah, this is a really good sipping one, and this is a very cocktaily one. Yeah, I could sip it.
You just want this in a straw? Like, well, hey, ladies, I really appreciate you coming out, and I appreciate you watching us. Please like, subscribe, and share if you can. It helps the algorithm. Bye.